Namaste and good evening to all. I am Rakesh Kalia and I welcome all distinguished school leaders to today's webinar session titled as Are Post-COVID Schools Up for a Permanent Makeover? Viewers, today's worthy panelists are all with tremendous experience in managing K-12 schools. We have with us today Dr. Anita Sharma, Principal, Delhi World School Bhiwani, Madam Kiran Dalal, Principal, Bright Scholars Sonipat, Shri Rajkumar Sharma, Principal, Nimawat International School, Jaipur, and Madam Bhitu Anchal, Principal, St. Joseph's International School, Hisar. Friends, innovative approaches that some schools were incubating before this year can shed light on the way forward, sort of helping more conventional schools to imagine what it would look like to transform our school systems and not just revive the status quo, right? So, to make sense of the potential for 2020 to change K-12 schools forever, our discussion will certainly offer a framework for understanding why some crisis-induced innovations persist while others are cast aside when conditions normalize. I'm genuinely intrigued with this premise and look forward to explore it further with our worthy panelists. So my very first question goes to Kiran ma'am. Ma'am, if we see COVID-19 an opportunity and an imperative one, how arguably schools could pursue lasting positive change during this period of instability? I would request all panelists to respond to the same question after Kiran ma'am. So Kiran ma'am, please.
Greetings, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Rakesh ji for such a wonderful session, organizing and bringing the leaders and the experienced people together. See, when we see about this COVID-19, everything has two sides of a coin. You know, there is an opportunity if we get something bad or something is not like it to our liking, anything. I mean, it can be a disease, it can be a pandemic, it can be any situation. But out of that situation, also, there are always positive things that come out of it. The best part of it is your own courage, your own success, that we sail through these problems and then we succeed. That is the best thing that we learn whenever there is a crisis. So this is what we teach the children also, that with confidence, with finding out solutions in, I mean, something which we do not know, the fear of the unknown. Everyone has that fear of unknown. What is going to happen? How is it going to end? What type of disease it is? How do we catch it? How do we protect ourselves? So as a school leader, to take care of the students, the teachers, and the society, we are we take lots of responsibilities, because if we do not talk to the parents, they also feel, they feel low, and they are not confident enough. They will feel that yes, there is something wrong, and how when are children going to go to school? What will happen to their examination? So all these questions, along with the problems which are happening at home. It's not only that the school has the problem or they have the problem of their children. The problems due to COVID are financial crisis also, the business setups, the domestic problems, the violence, or maybe all the time everyone is staying together, that pressure is also there. When everyone is staying home, there is a pressure on everyone. It's not, parents feel that we are only pressurized, but think of the child. What is the mental state of that child who is staying all the time in only with the parents or only with the siblings, and no one else to interact with, no one else to share or participate or play with? So that is the biggest problem. But even then, I see lots of positive sides in this COVID-19. When we talk about school and teaching, the online teaching which has started, though it has been going on since long, but even teachers were shying away from using technology. So then now everyone has become technology friendly. Everyone, be it a child, be it a teacher, be it a grandmother or a grandfather or anyone at play in this society, everyone has taken up technology so well that they are all friendly with this. They can use it, and the communication skills of teachers as well as students and parents, it has tremendously improved because of these online sessions. So this is a positive thing which has come up. Then if we talk about teaching processes, It is not the same traditional, whatever conventional methods we were following. Now teachers are not only concerned about the local area or local school or one school only, because they are exposed at a global platform, and they prepare their lessons very well, thinking about a child who may have access to their own teaching, maybe in any part of the world. So this is something which is very, very important, which is very good, which has happened. And I think it has improved the teaching processes a lot. And learning process also, children now they have to decide, and the children have become more confident, the decision making, the choice of the content, because lots of content is available online. It's not only from their own school, from other schools also the content is available. So they can pick and choose, and they can decide which one is best and what to learn from where. So this is my take on COVID-19, that there are a lot of positive things that has happened because of this pandemic. So we should never think that something bad has come and that there's nothing. जब भी कहते हैं ना, मन की होए तो अच्छा, मन की ना हो तो और भी अच्छा. So this is what I take on this, and I feel that yes, it has brought lots of positive changes also, along with all the miseries which are happening. There are a lot of miseries. I really feel sad and bad about what is happening around. But still, we have to think the positive side, and let's be positive and work in a positive direction, and things will be better.
Very correctly said, ma'am. Very correctly said. So, ma'am Anita Sharma ji, your take on this, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am has already said so many things, and thank you so much for giving us this platform to interact uh, amongst all educationists. So, I think COVID has already shaken the education system globally, and somewhere uh, globally we felt we are united. You know that that we beyond boundaries we all were together in this crisis, and the teacher they really worked very hard, and they have taken it as an opportunity. As ma'am said, those who were shying away, they were not using it, they were not they were even criticizing, they were not even ready to adopt blended learning and virtual classes. I had seen it practically happening in my school, and people were those, even the senior, and mostly the senior teachers, they were like they were not ready to accept it as part of the curriculum or as part of the new era of teaching. And now they are the one who are using it the most, and so beautifully they all are doing it. And when we see that suddenly technology has exponentially increased, the use of it has increased, and now teachers have the burden to put the best, because everyone is watching them. Earlier they had their own boundaries and they were in the class among 35 children. Now everyone is watching them. And see, earlier we were following all traditional teaching, as ma'am said. Suddenly we have come to experiential learning, we have come to blended learning, we have teachers. Now teachers have to work harder than before, because there is challenge, because these things are not going to go away. These are now part of our education system, and it is going to, things are going to be added, and technology keeps on changing. New devices will come, we will see how we change. We started with Zoom, and suddenly Zoom just came for 45 minutes, and then we came to Cisco, they were giving 100 people, and then we need to buy. Earlier, earlier everyone thought it's for free. Technology was for free, and that thing has gone from the mind. Now, if we really want to use it, we need to buy it. We have to invest in it, because management is not ready. They will, आप कोई सा software खरीद लीजिए which is very cheap. Now, see, nothing comes cheap. Nothing comes free. So we need to invest on e-learning, because now coming timing is of e-learning. There are lots of challenges for teachers, but I'm so happy that everyone has taken it as an opportunity to learn and to grow. Whatever circumstance, teachers really faced a great challenge. There was one thing, financially they were not able. They have to find a little room in their house where they have to teach. to like sit separately, make videos, and they are uploading it. And when they have to take class, they were not friendly, the EU friendly. Then we trained them, and now see how beautifully everyone is accepting it. Even the parents who didn't know when we used to run virtual classes, and that was Kedukum classes only, and like parents were like this कि ये क्या चीज होती है जो teacher. I always believe one thing. See, since the stone age, teachers cannot be replaced. Even you are making the video, you require a teacher. If you need an explanation, you need a teacher. So teacher cannot be replaced, and that will never happen. Teacher has its own standing. Technology is not going to to replace teacher, right? So but teacher has to keep herself or himself updated, so that they know what is new and how they have to implement in the new curriculum, and with NEP, with new NEP. So these are the new advancement. There is one thing in the Washington Post, they wrote, one line. They said, now Ginny is out, and we will learn to adapt, and we will learn to grow with this Genie now. So that is my take on this, right? Thank you.
Very correctly stated, ma'am. Uh, Certainly, we need the human touch to everything now. Technology is just an enabler, everyone knows that, but now we have actually experienced it or experiencing it. Everyone, all stakeholders in the school ecosystem, they are experiencing that technology is must, but again, as an enabler, not a replacement to teachers or the human resources. So teachers are here to stay, schools are here to stay. Nothing is going to change. Only there'll be sort of blending between physical and virtual. So it is the midway. It is nothing. No extremes are going to be there, like only online or only physical. It has to be somewhere in the middle. That is blended. Blended is the buzzword these days. So very correctly stated, ma'am. Next, Rajkumar sir, your take on this, sir. Sir, your mic is off. Please switch on your yes, mic.
Thank you, Rakesh ji, for giving such a wonderful opportunity.
Welcome.
And I'm thankful to all the panelists. And I think they told, you can say, right thing. But when in March, the Janta curfew was there, so I think nobody was knowing it. It will go up to, you can say, November, or it will be, I think, no end is there. But when you can say, I think it was the month of the April was there, we personally started how we are supposed to go for that. The kids, they should not be free. So it was the WhatsApp was the only, you can say, one resource was there. We are supposed to go with the WhatsApp. We are supposed to make videos. We are supposed to make some short, you can say, lessons, and we are supposed to share with the kids. Later on, it was there. It is not, I think, that much effective one. Like Ajanta ma'am told, we just start searching which one is free. It may be Zoom one. It may be, you can say, I think Google Meet. Other one, we are supposed to go for that. Which one is free, and we can interact with the kids. The teacher can interact, and no doubt, the teachers, they were not, you can say, I think, very much habitual with the technology, and they are shying away, or you can say, they were not, you can say, I think, ready to accept it. But slowly, you can say, with the help of the management, with the help of the principal, with the help of the I think the persons, those days, you can say, empower them, and they were, you can say, I think, ready for that. And I think, no doubt, you can say, the financial crisis are there. A lot of, I think, the things are, you can say, not, you can say, in a favor. Might be, you can say, the mental pressure is there. Might be, you can say, financial crises are there. But I think in that one, the schools, they got, you can say, a lot of, you can say, positive impacts. Like as I think early, you can, the child has to explain the parent, this was going in the class. No, I think the parents, they are sitting in the class, and the teacher is in directly touch with the parent. So I think somewhere, you can say, teacher has created the positive impact on the mind of the parents. How much the efforts on the part of the school means teacher is there, and how much the pain they are taking, and how good they are. So I think the trust is developed in the mind of, you can say, the parents. Really the teacher is wonderful one. Teacher is very good one, because that hard work is visible on the screen, and the parents, they're observing it. So I think it is a positive part. Next positive part is, I think that is a very good one, because we are with the traditional method. We are not going with the technology. But ultimately 21st century is with the technology is there, because we cannot, you can say, go away. I think in the new education policy also, it might be, you can say, the coding, other things are, you can say, AI, other things are going to be coming. So it means ultimately the kids, and you can say the school system, the teachers, they're supposed to go with the technology is there. I think there's no option, you can say, they're supposed to go away. No, I think they're, you can say, habitual, and they're comfortable with the technology, and they're using this technology, you can say, in a perfect way. When this school will be on, so I think this can be used again, you can say, by the teachers, whatever you can say they have, the time they invested, whatever you can say, the resources they used, and you can say the videos or the other, you can say, the recording they have done, it can be, you can say, I think, the asset for them, and the quality work is coming out. So ultimately, the COVID, somewhere you can see it has given the negative impact, but no doubt, somewhere you can say they made the teacher, you can say, the empowered one, they made the teacher, you can say, techno savvy one, they made the teacher, you can say, confident one, and they created the trust in the mind of the parents, and they brought, you can, the school, and you can say, that one, I think the parents closer. So might be, I think the positive side we have to see. Might be a lot of, you can say, losses there. Other things are, you can say, I think we cannot forget. We cannot, you can say, I think, ignore that one. But these are the positive part are there. Later on, I think when after post-COVID, the blended technology will be, you can say, I think it will be, you can say, successful one. And I think it will be the part of that one. Earlier, the teacher, they used to think the traditional method is perfectly fine. We are supposed to go with that. And I think the virtual classes are having no existence. So I think they will go, you can say, in between, and they will use, you can say, both one. That will be, you can say, I think, more beneficial for, you can say, both the kids, and you can say, I think, as per the time also. Might be this is from my side. Thank you very much.
Very nicely stated, sir. So basically, adapt fast is the key. Adapt fast. Teachers have adapted very fast with the emergency coming, due to COVID-19 pandemic. So they have really shown their grit, and they have adapted very fast. They have learned how to use technology. But this is learning has just started for
And
every.
I think Rakesh ji, I will take just 2 minutes.
Sure, sure.
Because I think here when I joined in the month of, you can say, the May, I think we have taken decision ki on the WhatsApp that things are not going well. So teachers, they offered, because the school is up to class 9, they offered, sir, we will come, we'll sit in our classes and we'll teach from there only. And last 4 months, I should not say it, the teacher, they are coming, the school is sending the transport, they're coming, and I think maintaining that one, the social distancing, other, you can say, all the precautions they are taking. And last 4-5 months, they're coming to school, and from the school, from the classroom, they're teaching. And all the parents, they're appreciating, ki, sir, this is a wonderful, you can say, the approach from the teacher side. They have taken that much pain, and by God's sake, no one, you can say, suffer from, you can say, this corona, and that one, all are safe, healthy, and it is there. And I think my teachers, they have taken a lot of, you can say, pain, and that one for the kids, and kids also, you can say, and they appreciate parents, they also appreciate it.
So COVID-19 has made our classrooms more transparent. So everyone can get to the classrooms and see what's happening over there. So yes, Ritu ma'am, please, your take on this, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. One is for inviting me to this session and giving me opportunity to speak on this topic. And my previous speakers have already enlightened us with their expertise and experience. If I start and if I see COVID-19 an opportunity for education, I would like to start my answer from the situation where in the midst of this unprecedented crisis, it was hard to see the future of education, where school buildings were completely closed and we all were physically apart. With COVID-19, we all schools have rapidly changed our basic way of functioning and working. Initially, the correspondence started with the school's ERP messages, WhatsApp messages, broadcast groups, emails, lot of study material, worksheets were sent to students, which has led to led us towards the reformation of education, and it has led to recreate school settings online. using various digital platforms, as Anita ma'am and my previous speakers have already mentioned, like Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, and many more. And they were untested, and there was a scene where children and teachers have never used such tools, but hats off to the teachers. They worked really hard, and during this crisis, teacher, parents, and students quickly have adapted online learning tools to continue their education. They all have experienced educational methods and tools which they never have seen or used. But now, if we see practically, they have become accustomed to all the tools they are using now. If we can say that if crisis would not, and I'm sure if this crisis would not have happened, this online teaching and learning would not have happened so fast. And the generations would have deprived of this technological advantage in education. The online learning has made us realize that technological expertise can lead to development of various skills, like research skills, judgment skills, observation skills, as Anita ma'am has and the ma'am has already mentioned, that they have improved their speaking skills. They have improved their listening also, listening and speaking skills. So it has a positive impact on teaching as well as on learning. Teaching and learning has also become multi-sensory experience with the use of this technology. Online learning has also given us opportunity for all types of learners. It is more engaging and easily adaptable. Teachers, they get more teaching time in the classrooms, online classrooms, more over, I can say, and you know, when they have some time, then and a variety of assessment strategies can also be used. And I see that all the level of Bloom's taxonomy can be assessed using technology. We can assess their speaking skills, their listening skills, which was not happening with pen and paper test as we were taking and doing it before. And schools and learning need not to suffer. This also is opportunity where I see that even after COVID-19, schools and children are not going to suffer by weather conditions, natural disaster, or any kind of social disturbances in our area, which was happening because we were closing schools if during extreme weather conditions. So if it is so, then also by using technology, teachers can get connected to the students easily, and children are not going to suffer due to the closing of schools. And because learning definitely has become seamless as the boundaries between school and home is reduced while using the technology. Parents, yes, there is very positive, I can see a positive impact, because maximum parents are connected through EPTMs now. Teaching has become more transparent. Parents have become educational partners, I can say. So because they see the happening, they see the classroom. So the mutual trust between school, teacher, and parent has increased when we have started using this technology. And you keep on counting, ma'am has already told, there are many more positive impact. Although I am not advocating and I am not in a favor of shift of homeschooling or a fully virtual environment, but I can sense and foresee the positive impact of online education in post-COVID environment. And I'm sure the technology radical reforms in education is going to stay with us in future. This is my say and take on this.
Very, very nice, ma'am. Very nice. So we can say that online learning is a sort of insurance, against all conditions which can force us to close our schools due to any reason, maybe due to pandemics like COVID-19, or maybe due to wars or due to some other reasons. So it's a sort of insurance. The learning will continue even if some untoward happens. So,
Happens.
Rajkumar sir, are you there? Rajkumar sir?
Yes,
Sir, your video is not coming. Yes.
yes.
Yes. So, in moments that require radical adaptation, it's very tempting to see crisis is an inevitable harbinger of change, you know. Moreover, short-term adaptations convert in long-lasting changes that benefit students. Has more to do with the chemistry between, schools' external circumstances and their existence with of doing business. Ultimately, we are all business entities. So, Rajkumar sir, my next question to you is, what positive adaptations your school is making that could lead to sustained changes for benefiting students? Yes, sir.
See, first of all, I think it is I think wonderful. You can say the concern and the question is there. First of all, when I think the ma'am already told it, it is an insurance whenever such type of conditions will be there. So I think we are assured that the study will not suffer. One part is there. Next one, I think somewhere you can say this material, the videos are there, the audios are there, other you can say the material which is there. It can be, I think, the improvised and you can say improved, and it can be used for you can say longer use. So I think these are having you can say the positive, and you can say that the long term you can say the effects are there, and you can say the investment is there. Next one, I think the best part is that one. Earlier you can say the child used to tell the parent about the teacher. No, I think with the help of these videos and the online teaching and that one, the parent is directly in touch with the teacher is there, and they can assess, they can gauge what type of you can say the teaching is going on, what type of you can say methods are there, what type of you can say I think the quality of teacher is there. So that is I think and you or you can say in the virtual class, I think you know it better one. What is the impact is there. So I think that is you can say the best part is there. Next one, I think it is not only one school, the all schools, the management, they have to invest and they have to go for that, because ultimately without technology you can't survive 21st century. So if you think it is with the traditional method, the conventional method, we can go and I think will be successful one. So maybe you can say I think it can be totally not replaced, but I think somewhere we are supposed to be the part of the blended one, because we are supposed to go with the mixture of both, so we can use it. So we cannot ignore, I think, totally you can say the traditional, we cannot, you can say totally shift on, you can say online, but I think somewhere you can say we have to go and get a mixture of, you can say both, that is to be required. And I think this crisis has, I should not say in that one by the fear of the job, or you can say, I think might be, you can say the teachers, they were empowered, and in a very short span of time, they improved them, you can say very quickly and very fast, and they adapted. And I think, no, the parents are not complaining. The classes are not there, the syllabus is not going on, the tests are, I think, not there. So I think somewhere you can see the school, they adapt. Yes, objective questions are there. Yes, you are supposed to, you can say pen and paper test is also there. So ultimately, they have made that one, parents is not feeling the school is not there. So somewhere I think this is from both the sides, because the parents, they're also helping the institutions, and you can say their kids also, and the school is also helping the parents and you can say kids. So both they're going, you can say, I think together. Only the fee part, I think that we are suffering. So that is, I think, the financial crisis the schools are suffering. The rest, I think things are, you can say, I think, on track.
Great. So let's see. Some new processes induced by COVID-19 has promising potential to improve stakeholders, particularly students and the parents' experiences with school. So some students, and not just the most privileged, are experiencing positive effects of remote learning due to factors, like lower anxiety, better sleep, self-paced learning, etc., etc. So they have found a new way of life, students. So our narrative these days seems to have stuck between pre and post COVID normals. So my next question to Ritu ma'am is, ma'am, do you think that a return to a pre-COVID normal won't serve all students well? Please throw some light on this.
Okay. Like pre-COVID normal had its own advantage. Especially the teacher-led instruction has too many advantages, and the children, they experience in school environment where their emotional, physical, and social development continues. So it has its own advantage. Even when they are in school, then values and their attitudes can be nurtured. Moreover, the group participation, like in sports and cultural activities, and it is not getting compromised when they are coming to school. And more I can add, then children will not get affected by health problems due to long on screen time. And when they are sitting in classes with teachers, teachers can supervise them, monitor them, support them. But on the same side, I can see, and we cannot ignore the positive impact of this online teaching and learning, and this educational reform, I should say. And what it will be, I can foresee, like after COVID, it will be a blended learning which will be successful. And if it is blended, it is going to benefit everyone, each stakeholder. Their pro and cons are there. We have positive aspects and negative aspects of it, but if we see, the more are the positive one. It definitely will be helping every stakeholder. And because the blended learning, I mean, is it is a kind of method of teaching that integrates technology and digital media with the traditional instructions. And the classroom activities will give students more flexibility to customize their learning experiences. And the aim of this blended teaching, where technology is going to blend with the traditional way, this teaching and learning has to be combined. Has to combine the strength of traditional teaching and online teaching methods. And if it is combined, then definitely it is giving an opportunity for more learning, more engaging, and fruitful experiences for students. And through blended learning, I also see the learners will take advantage of the best of both the worlds, in school and online school. And I would like to add, the blended learning will benefit both learners as well as instructors, the teachers, because teachers definitely can make over, and they can give special classes which are not possible with 30 to 40 children in same classroom. They can have multiple assessments which is suitable for one, and it is needed for another child. So remedial teaching classes are very much possible, which will be beneficial for students. So I see more benefits, and definitely it will stay with us. And the teaching new normal, it is normal, but the new normal will be a blended teaching approach.
Correctly stated, ma'am. Ultimately,
Okay.
we are coming back to the same point. Blended is the only way to go, I suppose, post-COVID,
Okay.
and it is going to be definitely a new normal. So it is, again, you well stated that students as well as teachers will get both best of both worlds. Both worlds here means both physical as well as virtual. So
The
the best of
virtual.
both will be available both to the teachers as well as students. Ultimately, learning requires both entities. They are both stakeholders in the school ecosystem. So, friends, to stick around, new processes have to outperform old ones when it comes to meeting schools' existing priorities, right? And new priorities are a key catalyst for transformational change because they hold sway over resources and processes. So the change efforts must overcome the persistence of legacy processes and competing priorities. So in a school ecosystem, which is certainly it's a complex ecosystem where different priorities compete with each other, and then the school leaders have to look into the intricacies of those competing priorities and which one has to come first and others later. So Anita ma'am, do you think innovations implemented in response to COVID-19 crisis ain't guaranteed to last into tomorrow? Please enlighten us.
Yes, it is very difficult to predict future, right? But when we see the when we see the all data and all whatever things, or we read the news, and then we can say that all the innovation and all the things are going to last long. It's not going to go away, because these are the opportunities which we have just got into, right? And it has brought us globally, it has brought us somewhere, like globally it has connected us, right? There will be four areas now. There'll be now the things will be on four things, the teacher, student, technology, and takeaway. Then what would be the takeaway in technology, how we are using it, and these four things will be always seen, right? And there will be e-commerce is going to grow, right? Because e-learning and e-commerce and e-thing, children are more aware of that now, and they have learned basically, and nothing stopped them in this COVID also. Nothing stopped them. We had Atmanirbhar Bharat program, and you won't believe the children made their extension wire and things, and they made the lights, Diwali lights and things. We did a lot of work in that. And as ma'am said, remedial classes, you know uh, surprisingly, because we had already had virtual classes since 3 years with us, with you. So what my plan was, I had specially installed that this specially screen and everything, and we had planned next year that we will stop this tuition system, and remedial classes will be taken from school, from our junior school, and because it is in town, and the children will be taught online through virtual classes. And I never knew that I will be using it for science and maths regular classes during COVID time, online classes. And that came as a boon, because being much advanced in the technology, and that was through you only, and I learned already I knew a lot. And I'm really blessed that we had all those things, and teachers were trained by March, and by 6 April, we all were on WhatsApp. By 6 April, we all were on WhatsApp. All the classes were on. And by next month, everyone was online. So every teacher was online. We trained them. And because we have been running the virtual classes, we were doing the blended learning. So that was a boon to us, at this time. And I always feel like, the teachers, now the onus is on teachers, because they'll be compared always, right? And all the innovation and things are going to grow. Technology will keep adding new things, and teachers have to be more imaginative, and they have to be more creative to create curriculum. And they have to make the teaching pedagogies to stay. They have to make the very innovative pedagogies to stay ahead of the time. That is very must. And these things are going to stay for a long time. And as ma'am said, blended learning would be the best thing, because now even the teachers, if they go on leave, they know okay, they are going for 4 days, but we can always ask, you can take class on that time, you can take class from home. So that is one thing, which every school principal was facing that problem. So we had this already in mind, and I never knew it will come as an opportunity during this time, although that time is very, very bad for everyone. And it has taught us a lot. And somewhere, I feel it has connected us together. Lots of workshops, webinars, things are happening, and we try to connect. Every school try to connect basically with the students in the way of having like assembly, everyday assembly is being held, and we are showing them like stories and things, and even pujas are being done. And even like we do every year our International Kids Festival, and I'm doing it now also on 14th. So we didn't stop from, and it didn't stop us, just we are missing the laughter and that, that bubbliness of children in the school. And it, ma'am rightly said, like without children there's no school. We need them back, we need them back. Thank you so much.
There is no replacement for school, man. Especially, people are talking about virtual schools. They are happening in US and Canada, but again, they are not so effective. I mean, you need a brick and mortar school for the children, because children don't come to school just for the sake of studies. They need the socialization, and they need other things, other participation in various co-curricular activities, so that enhance their holistic development. So anyways, thanks Anita ma'am for your wonderful insights. Moving forward, friends, school leaders who focus on urgently providing schools with new resources, such as Wi-Fi hotspots, video conferencing, culturally relevant curriculum, but not on the work of integrating those new resources into new and better processes. It can be tempting to prophesy that these new resources will seed lasting changes in how schools operate. So, Kiran ma'am, do you think resources alone are not likely to change what schools can do, but resources that power new resources processes could? And please tell how.
Yeah, Rakesh ji very rightly said by you that it's not only the resources or the new resources that are going to change or that make a person powerful. The resources should come with wisdom. They need some wisdom, which one to choose and where to up. It's not that if I get Wi-Fi, it's not only the Wi-Fi that's going to work, or the infrastructure or the hardware. Maybe I can buy the best of the hardwares, but if I do not have the brain to apply, or do not have the neck of understanding what is the use of this hardware, or what is the use of this technology, or how to use Wi-Fi, when to use, what should be the bandwidth, and all knowledge. Why we have to go deep into everything. If a person, if a school, if an institute, anyone who wish to apply resources, who use resources, the resources has to be used very thoughtfully. You have to pick up very thoughtfully. It's not that if somebody says that yes, this is the best resource, or this is the best ERP, or this is the best system of teaching, it cannot be followed blindly. It has to be first advocate, and it has to be debated, and not a debate cannot be only with the leader. It has to be open. Let the children participate, let the parents participate, let all the stakeholders be there, let the teachers be there, let the management be there, and then we find out that what is the best resource. So resources, it's not the only thing that the resource is there, and we because lots of resources are available. There is no end to resources nowadays. If teachers, like in the beginning when we started teaching online, I mean from the next day only lockdown, we started teaching, regular teaching. We started sending recorded videos. Those recorded videos, even there were things where already the material was available on YouTube. Already there were so many agencies who were supplying type of recorded material. The content was available. Even on CBSE websites, we had some content. Even on other, there were many channels which had content, and like Educom was already there, EduRite was there. There were many agencies. Rakesh ji, you were there with the class 11 and 12 teaching. That was a beautiful teaching. I mean, and it was, but what was chosen by the leaders and by teachers, that we ourselves, because the presence of the particular teacher, the teacher of my class, as the child says, my class teacher, my teacher, the connect, the human connect was to be taken care. And that was the reason why teachers were asked, and teachers came forward that we will prepare the videos, we will record our content, and then we will send the lessons. All lesson plans were prepared in that manner. And that is the wisdom. I mean, it's not that we buy fancy things to show that, yes, we have a smart board in the classroom. As I said that earlier when technology was there, it was there everywhere with every school. The smart boards were already there. But how many teachers were using it? The management has invested, and every time there was a fight or there was a clash between the management and the principal and the teachers, that we have invested this much of amount, give me the outcome. It was asked by the principal also, it was asked by it was questioned all the time. This is what, it's not the resource that makes powerful. It is the zeal, it is the wisdom, it is the, I must say that this is the commitment that should come forward, that yes, I'm committed to use this. And this best way I will use, then only things will start becoming very, very effective and useful. So resources make us very strong. I mean, they're very beneficial to us, but which resource to use and how to use it, that is more important. So choose the best one. I mean, there are lots of good content. It's not that there's something bad around. Again, to me, to my school, to my child in my class, there are 30 children. A teacher can only decide what is the best content. It's not that if a principal says, if a leader says that you have to follow this, a teacher might question us. They may say that, no, I don't think that my children will be able to understand it. So it's not as, I believe Dr. Anita will also agree with me that when we work in DPS system, Delhi Public Schools, and we talk of DPS schools and we talk of different areas of DPS. I mean, if my school is in a place, like say in Haryana, and we always keep comparing my school with DPS Arkepuram or DPS Mathura Road, that can never happen. I mean, we can never, there's no match. I mean, even if it is a match, maybe we are better than them in so many things. Maybe they are better than us.
And we are better.
And the content that we use, I mean, the way we teach, we cannot, if a DPS Arkepuram teacher comes to my, she's going to fail. Yeah. I say she's going to fail in my class, and if my teacher go to that school, she may pass. So there are challenges, there are things. So it's not that I'm not criticizing, please, all excuses to everyone. I'm not offending anyone that there is some system which is bad or which is good. I'm just this is just an example that I quoted, and if it must have hurt somebody maybe, but all my apologies for that also. But you know, when we use some resource, we have to be very, very mindful that yes, what type of resource is required to me? What do I need? That has to be picked up in a manner that, and then we have to see the requirement of the students. What is the requirement of the what is the level of learning? Because now learning outcome, if you talk about national new education policy, we have to focus on the learning outcome. It's not only teaching that we are delivering the content and we are not responsible for, maybe there are 30 students and there is a child who is one student who is not doing well, or maybe two children who are not doing up to the mark. So we cannot leave them behind. The teacher and we as a school, we are responsible for the betterment and improvement of those two children also. They, as Ritu ma'am said, that it can be a different type of assessment for them. We can have multiple types of assessments, but whatever ways and means, this flexibility also has come because of this COVID-19. Lots of flexibility. It's not only in examination or assessments, in teaching also, in the manner of, if we say, in attendance also. And we talk of CBSE, which is our guiding board, and we are responsible and we are bound to follow all CBSE rules. We see what happened in class 10 and 12 exams. See the flexibility, how beautifully it was done, and the children were assessed. They were all given grades and they were all evaluated without even appearing in the examination. The results were out. So this type of flexibility, this type of wisdom, it's not only that yes, we got the resources and we can do it, but we have to be very, very careful what resource to be used, how it is to be used, for whom it is to be used. And then resources, if you talk of resources at home, like children are staying at home and they're studying with everyone has become a teacher. The grandma has become a teacher, the grandfather has become a teacher, siblings have become teachers, even the children of different classes. I mean, senior class child can take the class of a junior class. I mean, they are teaching. Even in my school, we are doing this. We are giving them opportunities. A class 9 child can teach class, is delivering lecture in class 5 and 6 and all. And they are feeling so confident. They are sharing. This is again a sharing resource. So everyone becomes a resource. We invite, like grandma, we invite for storytelling. We invite mothers who are good in art and craft for this art and craft work. We invite parents who are good in, who are as doctors, they are in doctor profession. We invite them to talk about these health issues. And believe me, the immunity has increased in these days. The people have become more conscious about their health. They are doing very well. They are taking care of their health. They are eating well. They are not going out. So all junk food has gone away. Mentally with exercises. So there are so many things that, like, these are the resources. When we talk of resources, there is no end to resources. So we can say that even our kitchen has become a learning resource. If we talk about this experiential learning, it's a beautiful thing that has come up. There's no investment. Without any investment, sitting at home, the teacher at a different place and the children at their own place and in their home, they can teach them about the principle of a pressure cooker, how it works, the physics behind pressure cooker. I think Rakesh ji, you'll agree with me that this type of physics and chemistry can always be connected. Mathematics can be connected, accounting can be connected, the sharing and business studies can be connected. There's no subject which cannot be connected staying at home, and there are lots of resources around. So make every resource powerful. That is my take on this, that we can make a small little thing, a small thing in our household, which can be turned into a resource like this. And believe me, these little kids, as Anita ma'am said, that nursery, pre-nursery kids, when we are teaching them, you have to teach them skills, life skills, and you have to teach them more about how to interact. So if you give them an opportunity to talk about their bedroom, or maybe about their living room, or maybe about their mother, or maybe about their pet, so they feel so happy and they start posting pictures and they take the mobile to the pet and then they'll show the pet and they'll play with it and they'll tell the things. They try to narrate the things. So this is what resources to means, and this is what we should be more, we should be more careful about using the resources. It's not only the money or the, we should not say the costly resources only be used or which are better. It be a small little thing which can become as a resource and which is always useful and better. We should learn to connect to the curriculum what we want to teach, and the learning out, what do we want the child to learn from this. That is the wisdom behind using the resources. My take on this. Thank you so much.
Very correctly said, ma'am. Resources are all around, but again, we need to, create processes around the resources so as to deliver on the promises that we make to our parents, or for that matter, all the stakeholders in the school ecosystem. So in order to deliver on the promises made to our stakeholders, we need to pull in resources first, and then to create processes around them. That is the key. So very rightly said, ma'am, when educators integrate, new resources such as technology, for example, with new processes, those resources can have a powerful impact on the school's capabilities, right? So on top of that, adding more resources has the least potential to fundamentally transform how schools operate. Doing so can actually hurt the school's, value propositions, the promises which they make to their respective stakeholders. So when those resources get crammed into misaligned processes, so the processes have to be perfectly aligned with the resources that you are pulling into your school ecosystem. So friends, it can be said with certainty now that processes must be built and not bought, for sure. Processes must be built, they're not to be bought. So this is a very nice input, ma'am. So that's wonderful. Thanks, Rajkumar sir, Kiran ma'am, Ritu ma'am, and Anita ma'am for all your outstanding comments. I'm sure today's webinar has enriched us all and our viewers too, with many innovative points to emulate. Friends, those approaches which combine new resources with new instructional processes that depart from legacy processes, schools adopting them are more likely to achieve their desired results, right? Without a doubt, current pandemic has prompted schools to change, but the burning question on many forward-thinking leaders' mind is whether any of those changes will be long-lasting and transformative, enabling schools to take a leap forward toward more equitable and student-centered systems. So on that note, I again thank all the respected panelists on sparing their precious time. Thank you very much. and good evening to all. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am.
Stay safe and
you,
healthy.
and good
Thank
evening.
you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Sure.